There's no national standard. And the problem is most metropolitan areas are similar to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We got 115 municipalities, 115 sets of regulations. You know, and it's just all over the place. So for the most part, contract cleaners in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex follow the Fort Worth guidelines because they're down in black and white and you can read them and you can follow them. So they just follow those guidelines in the rest of the Metroplex. One other thing I'm just going to have to stop. One other thing I want to bring to your attention that happens, a lot of contractors will go to City A and get their BMPs approved. They'll go to City B and say, I got my stuff approved in City A, and they'll say, City A did a pretty good job, but they missed these 3 things. So they'll add 3 more requirements on him. He'll go to City C, and he'll say, you know, A and B did a good job, but they missed these 3 other things. So if a contractor does that, by the time he gets to the 10th person, he's out of business. You know, so the way it's being implemented, it doesn't allow the contractor to go from city to city to city to city. He's got to go in every place completely from scratch. That video that I first showed you, it's online at BASMA. In the upper right-hand corner, it says view our 30-minute video. That's online, so if you want to use it, you can. Our panelists are Barbara Bailey with the City of Tulsa, Derek Johnson with Oklahoma City, and Dorian Hancock with the Public Works Department. And the first thing I want those 3 people to do, if I got any disagreement, mistakes, or inaccuracies, is to address those issues. So, since I talked about Houston mostly, I'll let you answer first.
Okay. One thing is that we have 3 different departments performing enforcement. We have Public Works, and we have the Health Department, and we have the Police Department. The Police Department, he noted as heavy enforcement. That is because they go for criminal prosecution, whereas the Health Department and Public Works, which I am in Public Works, we pretty much go with municipal citations. So when you have the 3 departments, and any one of us can roll up on you, that's where our heavy enforcement comes from. When all 3 can show up, and it depends on who shows up, depends on the severity of the enforcement that will come into play. Another thing, the limited use of the sanitary sewer is that if you, and I do have our BMPs over there that the city, where Public Works have put out. If you truck in water, you have to truck it out. You cannot discharge it at that location because I believe it was Fort Worth also said that the water that is there at the property belongs to the property. So if you use the water that's on the property, then that's when you can use the sanitary sewer system. We permit transporters, those that transport their water and their wastewater. That is permitted through the Health Department. Again, we have 3 different departments working, and we do work interchangeably with each other. I just want to clear up those things.
I'm Robert Bailey, the City of Tulsa. And basically we have 2 options. If you add any kind of heat or chemicals to your water, it has to be collected. You're not allowed to let it go off the property at all. If you don't add those, then you go ahead and put through the filter boom and let the water go into the storm sewer. If there is nothing in the water. Are there any questions? I mean, we keep it pretty simple.
so I won't confuse when I was talking, if they want to discharge into the sanitary sewer, they can discharge into the sanitary sewer system. But there are some allowances for discharge into our storm sewer system, which they have to be in strict compliance with in order to discharge that wastewater. I just want to make that also.
And again, on the sanitary, you have to reduce your solids. There can't be any solids that go into it. And the solids, if they can separate them out, you know, the key litter to dry it out, and then go ahead and put it in the trash, and that's what we recommend. And we're really big about pre-cleaning the site, get all your solids out, get everything that has the potential to become solid, as solid as you can, so it can be disposed of in your domestic trash.
Derek Johnson from Oklahoma City. Our ordinances are fairly simple. They're covered under about 8 different ordinances. 2 departments are involved, our utilities pretreatment, and then stormwater quality, which we also do the enforcement aspects of it. We do have a BMP manual. We ask them to fill out an application to get a permit. That's a little different from what a lot of people do. When you say we limit their access to the sanitary sewer, we don't so much limit, but we ask them to let us know where they're going to be discharging at. You know, we permit not only just cosmetic cleaners, but carpet cleaners as well, so there will be a pre-treatment aspect to that. We do have exemptions for household car washing, charity events, and I want to qualify that for limitations. You know, if somebody's washing a residential car, they've been out there dogging, and they have a driveway with 3 inches of mud on there, and they decide to discharge it down at their plant, frankly, we should have taken it on. The enforcement is all in-house. We can escalate it, and we have escalated it up to the state level, where a formal arrest from the state level is done. So, if you have any questions?
Okay. I'm getting signs out here. We're out of time. I'll take a few questions. Do we have any other? Well, first before I do that, do I have any mistakes or inaccuracies anybody wants to bring to attention? Come on, surely I get 1 or 2 people who disagree with something I said. All right, do we have any questions? Yes.
I'm Holly Porter with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. I wanted to say a few things about the presentation and information. First of all, I wanted to say, attaboy for adding the comments that you did in there about biodegradable. That is such a common misconception. And I get calls from all over the state of Texas. I work with car wash owners and the mobile washers all the time. So good job on that for sure. And I also want to commend the cities who are represented here today, because they understand that a 3-part approach is critical for the success of any kind of program like this. Not only do you do outreach and education and teaching people, oh, this isn't good, but you also have enforcement. But you have that 3rd component, and many cities overlook this, not just with regard to discharging in the MS4, but I work with local governments about illegal dumping and a variety of issues, and it comes into play here as well. You have to have the outreach and education and enforcement, but the 3rd component that is usually missing is that disposal option. And they've covered that. Well, a lot of cities who are calling our group for help, they say, well, you know, we don't know what to tell them to do with it. We just tell them to call TCEQ. Guess what? TCEQ is going to refer them right back to the local government authority and say they're the ones who have to define for you what your acceptable options are in that community. Another thing I observed, the pre-cleaning. What I've also learned from some power washers and mobile washers, after you've removed the dry debris, you may also want to do some spot cleaning if they have any soiled areas with your degreasers and that kind of thing. That might also save some time and trouble.